when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening live to 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, to the thing at the foot of the bed. I am one of the co-hosts of this show this evening. I will introduce my co-host in just a minute. I always like to do a little bit of housekeeping. My name's Lorilei Potvin. I'm a host here on UFO Paranormal Radio Network, otherwise known as United Public Radio Network, or to make it even more simple, UPRN. I am the host of my own show on Monday nights here, The Angel Rock, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this show, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I'm a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. We are streaming to you, I think we are tonight on Roku. I'm not sure. I might have just streamed on Monday night instead and switched it. But if you want to join in the comments, because if you know both of the shows I do, but especially the show with my amazing co-host David, it's very audience driven. You guys have questions, you have comments, there's topics you want to talk about. We go wherever you guys go, because without you guys being here, and ladies, we would just be talking to each other. So we appreciate all of your support. And speaking of support, if you like what you see, please share, like, and subscribe. Also tell all your friends and family about our network. There's something for everybody on there. We are streaming 7 days a week, live with multiple shows each day. The network's been around for over 25 years. So when we aren't live, the archive streamer is always going. So, and anything from the last 25 years could pop up. There's been great hosts that have been on the network. There's been lots of syndicated shows. So like I said, we're always getting new hosts and new shows. So there's always, like I said, something for everybody. I think I told you guys everything. So hi, Susie Jones. I'm not sure what I'm hearing in the background, Mr. David, but I will hand it over to you, my amazing co-host.
Well, hi. I was looking at some info I had, and of course my volume came up.
I always turn my volume down.
Yeah, I know. I turned off the ringer, but I didn't turn off the volume.
That's Sandra, you don't have to do all the technical stuff. I do. So when I had to use my old computer, I had to use multiple devices. But go ahead, Dave. Tell them who you are.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium, channel, angel messenger, guide and angel channel. I do a bit of Reiki, not as much as Lorilei does, but I do some Reiki and all kinds of stuff. I love the paranormal and the metaphysical, and that's why we're here, because it is captivating and amazing. Yes, Susie, David is always making noise. That is right.
I don't know if y'all, that's what I forgot to tell people, where we're streaming tonight too. I started and then I went off to something else. So David left a joke on the Spirit Experience, where he is streaming on YouTube. He is also in his private group on Facebook, The Spirit Experience. I'm in my private group, Paranormal University, streaming to my public profile, Lorilei Potvin, on Facebook. We are streaming to Canada's Most Haunted UFO Paranormal Radio on Facebook and YouTube. On my YouTube channel, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. Remember where I was streaming us tonight. I had a more controversial type mystery guest on Monday night on the Angel Rock, so I had to kind of switch things around where I was streaming. So, but please, if you want to join the comments, hop over to UFO Paranormal Radio or all the places I mentioned, and you guys will see your comments. Otherwise, I want to share this part too, because I got a question today. People have been asking me where they can see the replays. So you can there's always a replay on YouTube. Monday night there is not, but I have a backup on my Rumble channel. You just got to look up Lorilei Potvin. But wherever podcasts or talk radio are carried, our podcasts are carried. Even the most obscure apps you can think of, I have found UFO Paranormal Radio on there. We are on Roku under UFO Paranormal Radio. That's what I forgot to tell you guys. So you sign into your account on Roku. You're going to go to the channel store and you're going to search UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down menu, and you're looking for about the third or fourth one down that says UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio, and that is our TV channel. So there's always, I know for myself, I'm going to add, because Dave backs up. He's a big TikToker. You've got lots of shorts. Also, Dave, on your channel, I know. But all my YouTube videos are backed up on Rumble and Odyssey, because we had a main channel, which we all adored, us oldie moldies. And so what happened was we lost a lot of the video. We didn't lose any of the podcasts because, like I said, they're carried wherever podcasts are carried. So now we all back up our video. I wanted to throw that in there. Sorry, Dave.
Yep, that's okay. And you can watch, well, since we started. I think I missed a few episodes, but everyone is also on the Spirit Experience. So if you want to rewatch any of those and you can't find it anyplace else, you can watch it on the Spirit Experience. And
that's right. Well, the person I know didn't care for YouTube. So I also sent them, because two of our bigger platforms that really help our network out are Podbeam and SoundCloud. So it's really easy to find all of our podcasts there, or shows, and not just ours, like the whole network. So those are two great places to go as well if you just want audio only. So
absolutely. Well, hello everybody tonight. I hope you are doing well. We Lorilei and I have the last couple times have been trying to talk about haunted dolls, haunted items, and everything. And to no avail, we like to also listen to other people. And somehow last week we got away from that and talked about NDEs and the spirit world and so on and so forth.
And the week before too, we went off, but that's what we do, right? We go where everybody wants to go.
We do. So if you're interested in something like that, I highly recommend that you watch last week's whatever it's called episode. Thank you. I don't even know what we call them anymore. Yeah, watch last week's episode and you can get a lot on that. But I wanted to ask Lorilei, you sent me a video, and this isn't about the haunted doll yet, and we will get there real shortly.
I've uploaded them all to my Facebook, everything
cool.
And more. So if we decide we want to play them, we can play them. Hi, Dem Rogers. Holy cow, Dem Rogers. So nice to see you. I also forget to mention I am a true crime fan. There are some things I do want to mention quickly before we start.
Thank you, Leona.
I want to give a shout out, as I always do, to one of my favorite, the best. I think there's two of them. They're in close proximity. Grizzly True Crime with Gisela K. She's from South Africa. She broadcasts out of the Netherlands. And Surviving the Survivor with Joel. The reason why both of them are the catchphrase for Surviving the Survivor is best guests, and they bring the best guests there, and it's kind of like a big family, both these places, and they're both very centered on families and the people who have suffered because of the crimes that people commit. And there's no drama, there's no hatred, there's no negativity, very inclusive and loving. I also want to mention, because sometimes we have JK47 Paranormal Investigations here, and he was on my show, The Angel Rock, a couple of weeks ago, and has brought a lot of attention to the Ellen Greenberg case. If you do not know what that is, please look it up. You can go to gavinfish.com. I know Surviving the Survivor, as well as Grizzly True Crime, has covered it, and this family really needs your help. There's a group on Facebook called Justice for Ellen Greenberg. If you're not familiar, please take a look, because these two parents have been fighting for their daughter's, let's say, cause of death to be changed. And when you look into it, you will see that there's no way this poor woman unalived herself. I'll leave it at that. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's interesting stuff that people do need to know and can participate into. The more stuff we can solve, the better.
Well, they need help. They've spent almost, I think it's over $500,000, and they have been stopped at every turn. This has been going on for 11 years. So they need a lot of help, and we need some attention. And what baby is that? Is that Pom Pom?
That's Pom Pom. How did you know?
We don't have a regular. Well, I have my co-host here. We have Murray here tonight for that spooky season. Everybody, it's almost upon us.
Oh yeah, Murray Peterson, is that his name?
Yeah, that's what my son with the autism named because we have a regular skeleton that we decided from last Halloween. He stays at all season. We dress him up for Easter and Halloween and St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day. And then we got a couple more that I'm making Halloween stuff. Hi, Christina Lantis. And what happened was we got a second one, and I just made up Murray's co-host sign. And my son walked in and said, I think we should call him Pete. I said, too bad he's Murray tonight. And then we decided he can be Murray Peterson.
Yeah, or Pete Murrayson.
Well, we don't have our regular co-host, who's usually Angel. We got Pom Pom tonight.
Yep. And one thing we all know in spirituality is names are not forever anyway. They're ever changing, right, Bob?
That's right.
Sometimes
so
I call
what were you going to ask me when I
okay. So Lorilei, you sent me a what do you think? And it was an Instagram, I think it was. And it was
I
like the
I uploaded
it was the oh, you did? That was like that. It looked
Let
like
me show it. You want me to show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and show it.
Keep chatting while I get it ready here.
Hi, Howie. But anyway,
Hi,
she sent me this, and I mean, we talked about this earlier. I always watch something, enjoy it for a moment, and then I go back through and I try to debunk stuff. And I don't try to debunk it to be a jerk. I try to debunk it so we can find out what's real, what's not. And that's all it. There's a lot
Let's
of
not
stuff
tell them anything. Let's let them watch and see what they think.
But yeah, but this one was really fun to watch, and it kind of stole my heart, and I'll explain why.
Is that the school bus you're talking about?
Nope, no.
Okay, what? Give me a little.
It was the little alien dude, or the guy in the forest.
Oh, that guy! I didn't download. Hang on, I didn't send them to me. Give me 1 second. I'll send them to me.
Okay, I'll keep talking for a minute. This is outside the doll thing, which we're going to talk about next.
Now, is that the guy that was hopping around in the forest?
Yeah. Christina Lantis, yeah, the school bus one, it was fake. They even said it was fake.
I was going to share it tonight, but okay.
No, but you can watch. She just Christina just put on their school bus looked fake. But we're still going to play it.
Thanks, so Howie shared her show. So I just saw that, but on Facebook here. Give me 1 second. It's just uploading here. Okay, it's there. Good. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll get it going, guys. Give me a sec here. New computer.
Yeah, so Lorilei and I watch it. Lorilei watches more than I do, but she's always watching. But we watch all kinds of paranormal stuff and all kinds of sightings and everything. And we kind of do the debunking for you, I guess. But you'd be surprised. I have to say, there's a lot of them that are not real, but there's a lot of them that either are real or you can't debunk them. And I would say if you can't debunk stuff, then you further research into it as much as you can. That's how we find out the truth about stuff, is we research it over and over and over.
Teaching tool, I think, for people, because I don't know if we're going to get to this case or not of this husband and wife, and the wife is pregnant, and I was not looking for this on TikTok. And let's put it this way. I have done a show over the years when I had a second show before Dave and I many years ago on this network, and it was a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. And that is exactly what I believe this poor family has done, trying to mimic what they see on television. And unfortunately, I'm sure most of y'all know reality TV is not reality TV. You've heard me talk about our Paranormal Survivor episode. I'm not ungrateful that they shared it on the Travel Channel at season 4, episode 9, called Demonic Hauntings from My Previous Home. But I can tell you everything that we said in the episode was true, but they didn't get a lot right afterwards. Let me see if I can I won't be able to make it bigger until.
That's okay. That looks pretty good, actually. Can you? Hopefully, you guys can see this. If we'll describe what it was.
No, I'll make it bigger. Okay, let me see if I can bring it down. Okay, there. Can you guys see it better? Okay, look at this little critter, guys.
And there he is, way up in the top.
He disappears from the screen for a minute.
Yeah, he's up at the top.
He'll pop back in. I'll make sure I got the top showing. Oh, I don't. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry about that. He only popped in the frame for like a second
For a
anyways, guys.
second, yeah. So
Okay,
I
so what's your
watched.
thoughts?
Okay, these are my thoughts and my opinion. So I had watched it. I watched it the first time, and when I very first watched it, I had to say, that looks pretty good. And then I got to the second part, and the second part's what did it for me. But I still thought it was pretty good. And then I went back and rewatched the first part, and I thought, that looks, maybe I'm wrong about the second part because that part looks good. And then what I do is I slow stuff down. I go over and over. I check it. And it reminded me of something. Do you remember our background in puppetry?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So as I watched it, and if you watch it very closely, the head doesn't move natural. It moves as if more puppet-like. But so I don't know. I'm not going to say that the video's not real. It's not for me to decide. I did say that it's probably one of the better ones that I have saw. So if somebody said, David, you're wrong, this is real, here's that dude, you can shake his hand, I'd be like, oh, sorry, I didn't believe you were real. I would totally do that. But I enjoyed it very much, just from even the aspect of the puppetry, because I have followed Jim Henson for a very, very long time. And I used to always watch that show and try to figure out and watch how they moved the puppets and the movement of the puppets. And then I studied puppet movement when I was younger, not like in college or anything. I kind of studied it on my own. So that's what did it for me in the first half of it. But it was really good. And I loved
Okay, so let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. So I saw it. I wasn't sure, but I saw it on a phone. But I think what we have to be aware of nowadays is that with deep fakes, with all the AI out there, somebody put in here, let's see, Christina Lenta says it's choppy and looks fake. And she also said it looks CGI and that crack in the backside. And then I'm going to add what Dem Rogers added. Okay. They said he looks like a treasure goblin from Diablo 4. So could it be? I don't know, but I'm going to tell y'all, I have seen some pretty strange stuff caught on camera. I don't know, like, and even long before, I even uploaded some really ancient pictures. Now, again, could they have been Photoshopped? Possibly, but this is back in the day, like I think when cameras first came out, but they seem a little too clear to me. So were they digitally enhanced? I'm not sure. I uploaded a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
I have personal experiences with actually seeing stuff in the woods, but never that big, not clear, but I've saw stuff in the woods. I know there are things there that other people aren't seeing, but, and some of the stuff that I saw was even, okay, last night, for instance, actually, I didn't tell you about this one. So last night I was doing a live on my TikTok up in the mountains by me.
Well, I was trying to join you.
Yeah, just trying to join me. And you probably would have, I wish you were there now that I think about it, because there's a time in some of the people, I don't know if anybody here was on that TikTok live with me, but I was sitting there and all of a sudden, vroom, something ran by me on the bottom by the tree, and it wasn't an animal, and and I just caught it out of the corner of my eye, and it startled me enough for me to go, oh, something just ran by me. And it wasn't an animal, and it wasn't a mouse, so it wasn't just leaves. I mean, whatever it was, I don't know, it had to be as big as a chipmunk, or not a chipmunk, bigger than that, like a little possum or something. It had to be that big at least. So I don't know what it is, but like I said, that one, I will never sit there and say that one. I can't. It was good. If it was a fake, I thought it was pretty good, except for the second part, because I agreed the CGI in the second part wasn't so good, but the first part looked like they used a combination of a real thing and CGI. Because of the head turn, because you watch it when we're done here, watch it again, think about all your puppetry stuff, and watch the head, the way it moves.
Okay, so Christina says the colors in the video are quite bright for natural foliage, and yes, agree, David, it moves like a puppet, would make a great movie, but don't feel it's real. No, it's hard to say, because I can tell y'all, I have seen some pretty weird stuff in my lifetime, especially in my so as Dave in my previous lifetime, my previous house.
And that time.
Not like a lifetime ago. It wasn't that long ago, but let's put it this way. So I had some strange stuff yesterday. I am not being disrespectful, but and Dave and I have talked about this off air, but I just choose not to put my energy towards, oh my God, it's Mercury retrograde. I try not to pay attention. Where your attention flows, energy goes, I say, right? So yesterday, David's live. We talked all the way through all day yesterday. I got all ready, makeup, the whole bit. I got 3 devices right where I'm sitting. Now, David has a backup channel and he got his original one back. So that is on me. I was on the wrong channel, but I have certain people and I'm subscribed to both of Dave's channels and I have all marked. So any notifications from you guys I get. Couldn't find them in my live menu. Couldn't find them. I sat here the whole time while Dave was live. Okay. Then I'm going to tell you something really crazy. Talk about cameras. I have security cameras and I get a notification at 12:15 last night in the morning that there's something's going on. So I turn the warning on. Looks like there's this woman like right close to the camera going like right across. And I went, what the heck? And I think that's pretty bold. I'm in the kitchen and the window's open, even though the curtains are closed. So I end up going into the warning and you can play the video. And I'm going, oh my God, like this chick is going right up to our stairs. She's trying to get in our house. I can hear her. Like, and where did she go? Like the video ended. I can't see her. Right. So I run and tell my partner, Dell, like we're all freaked out. We're outside with flashlights, the whole bit. Right. We're looking and, thinking, what the heck? We went out twice. And then I recorded it and saved it for future reference. Right. And then my partner, Dell, says to me about an hour later, well, now that you recorded it, it's gone. I go, it's not gone. I have it on my phone, like on the same app as you do. He's going, no, it's gone. I go, why is it marked for 21:02, which is 9 o'clock, 2 minutes after 9? And so he's looking, and all of a sudden I realized my app for my security camera didn't update. They were showing the video of myself at 9 o'clock coming back to my house on Tuesday night. I didn't even recognize myself on the camera. So wow. I had crazy stuff with computers.
That is crazy. I'd be freaking out too, going, why am my doppelganger talking?
Our cameras are so clear. Like I can talk to somebody live outside the whole bit. You know what I actually said to Dell? I said, that chick looked like she was in her mid to late 20s. And I said, like, there's no color, right? And then I said, that was too thin for me. Apparently it was me. That's why she went in the house. And that's why she never came out, right? And we're thinking someone's trying to break in the house. And I'm going, I was upset, right? I'm going, I'm going to send that dog out there. She's back here. I'm sending the dog. Because I have a
was that the last night or the night? That was just a couple nights ago, right?
Yeah, what had happened was we talked to all the neighbors. Nobody talked until we moved here, and we're really good friends with everybody. And I'm in a townhouse, right? So, and I was going to send it to my neighbor next door, and I thought, oh no, like if it wakes her up or she's awake, it'll freak her out. Like she's a single mom, right? Going to be a nurse. And I thought, no, I'll tell her in the morning. Thank God I didn't send it to anybody. I would have felt like such an idiot.
Oh my God. Oh, and then you guys, we got some more crazies for you. This is how crazy Dave and Lorilei's life are.
Always, every day.
So Tuesday, and I sent, I think that Tuesday night, was it? Yeah. Because I left you the message late Tuesday night. You didn't get to it.
I know, and I never listened till the next morning. And it kind of guides us into potentially haunted items, sort of.
So this will get us to haunted-y things. Which is good. I'm glad you did. So my father had called me up earlier during the day and Tuesday, because I was going up. Yeah, because I was going to go up and do a live, which I did. I did a live on Tuesday night as well up in the woods because I didn't have any appointments Tuesday night. So I said, I'm going to go do a live. And my dad had called me and he has this little, it's like this little keyboard thing. It's a little more than for a kid, but I mean, it's a cheap one. It's just got, you know, and I played piano from a long time ago. So my dad said, hey, do you want this little machine I found in the garage? I cleaned it up and everything. He said, you could just plunk on it. He goes, but I don't know what to do with it. And I said, sure, I'll come over and get it. Well, I'd never got a chance to, but about like 8 o'clock, someone knocks on my door, and it's my father, and he just came over to drop it off. And he came in, he gave it to me. I turned it on. I played it for a minute. And I said, yeah, it works just fine, you know. And then he left, and I stuck it under my little couch in the foyer. And I proceeded to come in my bedroom. I just kind of sat here. I was playing on my phone and stuff. I was sitting in my rocking chair I am now. And this way down the hall, right down the hall, I have 4 cats. And the 3 of them they were roughhousing like they do at night. They were roughhousing back and forth, and Karma was just sitting there watching them. And all of a sudden I heard a boom, which one of the kittens, he jumped up and flipped over on the other one. And when he went boom, I heard a laugh. It was a giggle.
But you got to clarify, because I thought when you said giggle, it was a child, and I'm giving this feedback about.
Yeah, it wasn't a child. It was a giggle, but it was like an adult. Okay, it was like an adult going like that, and I, was like, what? And
you said all the hair went up on the back.
Yeah, well, it didn't go. Not yet. First, I in my head, I clearly said to myself, oh, that's probably Dad walked back in the house.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
And as soon as I walk out there, I look, there's nobody here but my cats. And they're just all sitting there looking at me. And the hair in the back of my neck and my arms just all stood up. And I just sat there a minute, and I was like, that was the loudest clairaudience thing I've had in a long time. I used to get outside, objective clairaudience, quite a bit. Like, they'd just wake me up in the middle of the night, say my name out loud or something. But
this giggle, people what clairaudience is.
Clairaudience is
listening. They might not.
Oh yeah. So if you're listening, it's one of the things that psychics or mediums use. Clairaudience is clear hearing. So the hearing comes in either subjectively, objectively, or both. So if it's subjective clairaudience, that means you're getting blocks of thought or thought in your head and you're hearing it kind of like you're talking to yourself or reading to yourself, except mine come in a different voice. So that's cool for me because I don't have to know if it's me or not because it's a different voice. But then there's objective clairaudience as well. That happens to me not very often, and some people say they have it, and I'm like, well, if you do, that's got to be driving you nuts up a wall because it's like they're talking right in your ear, and like when it's objective, my ear will tickle. So a lot of people, if they see me do readings and they see me scratch my ear, it's because I'm hearing. So because it tickles. But that wasn't even objective clairaudience. I mean, that had to be heard by the cats and everything because the one thing I noticed is after they did that and the laugh went, the cats were silent. So
that's why we were talking all day because I feel so bad because I didn't see it Tuesday night. And then I saw it yesterday. And so when I heard giggle, I'm thinking kid. And that's on me because I didn't ask.
But that's okay because it would have made sense because he brought me over that little piano, which
that's what I brought up. Remember, we were talking about this. And you said, well, I don't really feel anything in it because I always ask people, just like Dave does, how did it make you feel?
Yeah.
What are your animals doing? Right. I always ask. And so I know Dave does too about small children or animals. Right. Because I believe we can all see these things as very young children, as does David. And then as we get older, we kind of lose the ability. And then as we were talking, that's why I said to you, Dave, do you think maybe it was that piano?
To this day, I mean, who knows? I don't know if the piano had something to do with it. I mean, it very well could have.
It's new in your house. And then you got to share where your dad had it.
Yeah, my dad had it. My dad actually bought it from, because I asked him where he got it from. So that thing has been around the block. So it was at a rummage sale, or yard sale, whatever you want to call it. It was bought at a yard sale by, I believe, one of my dad's friends, and then my dad's friend gave it to my dad, and my dad's had it in their garage for years now, and he just dusted it up. So I don't know who owned it before the yard sale and all that. I think it changed hands very quickly, but it was sitting in that garage for, gosh, a good 3 years at least. And the weird thing about it too is at my house, I have a little brother who is a wild person, to say it nicely, but he's always out in that garage, and his energy out there is just awful. I can walk into that garage and go, oh, it feels like doom and gloom in there, and anger and everything else. And I thought, well, it couldn't have the anger didn't come in the keyboard, because that was literally a laugh. I mean, that was a giggle. Whatever was giggling at the cats sure in the hell enjoyed it, but it made the cats stop and just stare. So I'm not sure what it could be, and I'm not sure if it's coming in the item. I am. However, though, I'm going to play with it later on tonight again and turn it on. And
if I get a message from you, I'm going to answer it right away. I always do. It's just we had in-laws in from out of town for a couple nights, and I was running around doing all that stuff. And then, like I told you about my little debacle with coming back, that was the night you sent me the message when I come back through the camera and stuff. So Janet says, yeah, I've heard voices through the video of investigations. Yes, we would call those EVPs. And after I think about electronic voice phenomena, I guess it is, because it's getting picked up by an electronic, right, when it's being recorded. But I can tell you, and there's many a show, and there's another host on this network, just adore her, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, Fridays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern with Spirit Switchboard. Now, she's a very gifted medium. She does a lot of the paranormal as well, very psychic, a spiritual teacher. And I produce this show, and I do quite a bit of producing for some of the new people until they learn how to run the show themselves. No, I'm not the main person. I'm kind of the backup person, right? But I get to meet a lot of the new people. And one day, she knew a little bit about StreamYard, but she asked me if I could hang out. And on that show, it was her 13th show on a Friday. And she had Rick McCallum on, who is the stunt person, or was, for Kane Hodder, who plays Jason Voorhees in the Friday the 13th. He was talking about working with Clint Eastwood, and he's also a paranormal investigator and what have you. So she asked me if I would, because normally I'll listen, but I'm doing other stuff, right? So I had headphones in, and I remember I had the phone about 4 feet away from me. Most of you that are here all the time will know what this is about, but anybody listening, I ended up, I do resin all the time. That's my big thing, creating and whatever. So I thought, I can get a quick resin pour, and it's 2 hours. I got my headphones in, I can still see the phone. And all of a sudden, as I have my head down, it sounded like somebody, when you're a little kid and you're at the bottom of your drink and you got a straw and you're sucking it up. It sounded like that. And I'm thinking, who the heck is sucking something up through a straw? And I look up, nobody's drinking. I went, uh-oh, EVP, marked it. And it's so odd, because Carrie Lynn just asked Rick, have you ever had an attachment and then the EVP gets picked up? Now, they did not hear it. I heard it, and it was recorded. It actually sounds like a man moaning, or almost, and then the sucking up at the straw sound almost evolves into a growl. Then when Carrie Lynn was on my show a couple weeks later on the Angel Rock, I didn't hear it. Everybody in the audience heard it, and Carrie Lynn heard it, and David's heard it too, right, David? It almost sounded like a moan or something. It was a really weird sound.
I got to remember exactly, but yeah, it sounded like a gentleman's voice.
So we get lots of EVPs on this show, and you'd be surprised, especially if you are a podcaster or whatever. You don't have to be talking about the paranormal, because for some reason, and I think it has to do with frequency, cross the veil, if you will, that it's more in tune with electronics that will pick it up where the human ear can't. What's your thoughts, Dave?
No, that's absolutely true. And the fact is too, and elaborate on something. If anybody's out there, pay attention to any paranormal show that you watch. Definitely. And or mediums or anything like that. If you pay attention to the background of the show, because I'll tell you, I've had even stuff like I was recording a TikTok video, and there was like a feather fell down behind me and I was talking, or no, it was in front of me. It just wafted down. I didn't notice it during the TikTok. Somebody else noticed it. I was like, wow, it was clear as day. Stuff like that happens. Noises happen. I've had many things. And what happens is during things like this, what I think it is that we put ourselves in a position to be open. If you are open, you can see the unseen. Anybody can. So as long as you're open, if you're a closed-minded person, it's going to take a lot for you to get to see something, right, little baby?
So Howie says, I love it when I get EVPs at the cabin on the show. I forgot to give Howie a shout out here. Howie is a big part of the Riff Network. He has his own show. My mind just went oh my God, it's gone completely blank on me. I'm so sorry, Howie. Please type it in the chat for me and I'll call it up. David and I have been on his show and check it out. He's got a lot of great content over there. So I want to give him a shout out. It's going to drive me crazy. The Orion experience, right? The Orion experience. I think that's Howie's show. Please forgive me if I didn't say correctly, Howie, but he's
the Orion effect. Yes.
Thank you. Orion effect. Thank you so much, Howie. I was not expecting to say that. So Howie's got a lot of paranormal. He's got a lot of different shows on his network. So check it out.
Howie, did you know this? The Orion effect. I don't know if you're familiar with Ra, R-A, Ra, the Law of One or the channelings of Ra.
He will be.
Yeah, he will be. Yeah, so
he goes LOL.
LOL's W, yeah, Y-W. So you hear about what Ra says about the Orion group. The Orion group. Do you remember how Ra addresses the Orion group? It's not in a negative way, but the way they talk about the all that is, was, or will be, and everybody's connected and everything. And it's literally about a group of, let's say, ETs, that's probably the easiest way to say it, who are trying to push the service to self instead of service to others. Yeah, it's just interesting, isn't it? I have always had, it's so funny that I'm the opposite of what that would be teaching. But the funny thing is, growing up, I was always, Orion was like, oh, cool, Orion. Everything I would hear Orion.
I remember that way too.
Yeah, I remember
that and Montauk. I am telling you, anything to do with Montauk, and it's been before I rediscovered my own psychic and mediumship abilities. I don't know if somehow in a previous life, I don't know if I'm going to get real crazy. Skipping, we can skip time dimensions without even realizing it. Let's get into, we can even talk about the Mandela effect, right? I don't know what it is, but every time I hear it, and it's been for years. I'm going to give another friend of mine a shout out. His name, he goes by Quincy Roser on Facebook, but his name is Michael Roser, and he runs Dark Hour Paranormal. He works with Third Phase of Moon on YouTube and also Goof On. And he did a documentary because I think he traveled to the area, but he lives on the East Coast in the US. And he did it's the first part. If you can, check it out on Dark Hour Paranormal. He's done a documentary on Montauk, and some weird things happened while he was filming it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I just love stuff like that.
Well, you got to check it out. I'm trying to have Michael back on. I have had Michael on. I met him quite a few years ago with a host that has since passed, and just loved him, Damien Gray. And he co-hosted with his best friend, Ralph Torlucci. And I think it was called was it the Black Lotus Effect or something? I was the only girl on, but he always used to do panel shows. And I met Michael on there and we just clicked immediately. I think the first time we talked on Skype, we talked for like 8 hours and it felt like 2 hours. And so I'm trying to have him back on because he's also got a story hour, if you will. He filmed it. And he's talking about his first paranormal experience when he was warned not to go into these caves. And again, it was out on the East Coast. and I don't think he's in Pennsylvania, but I think it was in New Jersey or New York, if I'm not mistaken. But he's such a great storyteller. And when you hear his story, and I'd love to have him come on and talk about it, it was like really, really interesting. So Howie says, I'm connected to Orion. We can go down a hole on this.
Oh yeah, there's a whole thing to go down with Orion. I believe Orion too has dual personality, if you will, the best way I could put it. So I think it's more than just it's not a singular, it's a plural of consciousness, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love stuff like that.
People might get lost in this topic tonight because it gets a little deeper, right?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, this is one of those topics, and it's one of those topics too where we can go back and forth all night. It's one of those you have to be open to everything.
Maybe we have to come back on. Did you call the series with David and I Hidden Doorways, Howie? I forget what you called it. And I'm so sorry. My brain is going a million miles an hour here with all things going on right after the show and jumping back into a million things. So, but maybe that's something we can talk about on there.
Talk about. Yeah. Oh, to go back though to the original story about the haunted item.
Yes.
Now, I am not sure if that item is haunted, like I said, and I'll fill you guys in, and I'll let Lorilei know later when we get off. When I get done here, I'm going to turn it on and play with it a minute and see if something shows up again later.
We should do a live on TikTok together after, and you can play your organ and I'm sorry, keyboard. That's a terrible word to use, keyboard.
Yeah. You can't play with your organ on TikTok. They will totally ban you.
I'll just watch and comment.
Yeah, but no, because it's just a little like it's a play toy, and I just played a little bit. You can't do much to it, but boom, 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 and I'm just gonna see and turn it back off and stick it back under there and see if something happens. It could be anything though. I tend, and Lorilei knows this, and we're talking about haunted items and stuff that just shows up. Lorilei knows this. I do not like new stuff. If I buy furniture or I buy anything, I always buy it from a thrift store, antique store, or something like that. And I know, and I'm not that guy who sits there and clears everything energetically before I bring it in my house. I'm like, I don't care. I kind of feel sorry for any energy that's left over coming into my house. It's probably just going to go crazy. But I have bought certain things and put them in my house, and they have done stuff. These things right here, these were green, and I found these are green and they're metal.
You always find awesome stuff, but Dave lives in the US and I live in Canada, so. And Judy Thompson, hi. We got Christine Kruger here. I want to give them a shout out and say hi. And how is it called The Forbidden Door, his series? But go ahead, Dave. Dave found some.
When I first got those, they were green and they had a certain feel to them, and it felt to me like they were in an older lady's garden who was single. I was touching them, going, "Oh my God, I'm getting." But they had like a nice vibe to it. It's like she just enjoyed this stuff on a porch. Like she also had a lot of wind chimes and stuff. But when I came back, there was something about him that was overly cheery for me.
Okay.
Which I know that sounds funny, but it's like, yeah, she seemed like more la 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 in the gardening and all that stuff. That's not me. So I painted them black.
Well, sometimes you got to do that. I'll even buy stuff. And what I do is, like Dave and I, if you know us all, like Christine said, you too. Dave and I have discovered that we have a love of gnomes. I have a problem with gnomes. Yeah. So too many. There's never too many. But the problem is, like, say I'll get some, and I don't know where they get them from. They're gorgeous. They're made out of like almost like a cement, the gnomes. But I don't know if they're trying to make them look aged, but they just look dirty. So I usually repaint them all. So.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to find, and I'm going to, if I can find like a cool gnome that's not like a, like all the, I don't know why gnomes became popular here in my town all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And you can go to any store, dollar stores, Dollar Trees, Ollie's, all these places, and they have all these stuff.
Not here.
Oh my God, here it's all over. Like it's the new thing. Like, do you have a gnome? If you don't have a gnome, you just, where you at? You know,
I
it's like,
love
no.
this channel on YouTube. Her name's Jade the Libra, and she's just beautiful. She is a goth, but like not into dark stuff. Just she likes that dark aesthetic. She's a model. She's probably in her early 40s. Her husband's a musician. They have a beautiful home, and they never have children. Never had children. I would never ask. Their dogs were like their kids, right? And when they made the announcement last year that she was pregnant, I was like stunned. I think everybody was. They just decided they were going to finally have kids. So they now have a new baby, but it was her first child. And she admitted she knew nothing about children. And this woman she's called Jade the Libra. Her birthday's in October. She adores Halloween. Guys, she starts shopping in June. And she goes all around. I think she lives in Kansas or Kentucky. I think it's Kansas though. And she shops all over and she shows you kind of what she finds and whatever. So she's going on. I can't wait till next year. I'm going to be doing all this stuff. And I thought, yeah, right, lady. With a new baby, hardly. This woman is doing it. Like started in June. Anyways, all over the place. But the reason why I brought her up is she hates it because everywhere she goes, there's gnomes and she doesn't want gnome stuff, right? She wants Halloween. She doesn't mind some of the cutesier stuff, but she doesn't want the Halloween gnomes. So she's always, oh gosh, more gnomes.
I know. I'm looking for a really good what I would really like to find if somebody has an old one that they've carved.
Oh, carved gnome.
That's what I really want to get my hands on. And if people ask why, it's because the energy that went from and whoever carved it, whenever the artist makes art,
yes,
that is literally you in that art. I mean, you are pouring yourself into that. You have essence there. So I wanted to get one that was whittled or, it was carved out of wood to see how that one goes. And then plus wood is also an absorbent and a conductor, I believe. So I think the wood can hold the energy. I think that's why wooden dolls you find more wooden dolls that are haunted than the porcelain dolls. And I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Okay, so Christina said, David, I'll keep an eye out for carved gnome. And she also added, I agree, I collect antiques and have been gifted antiques and have had things happen in the house. Water came on, TV and a radio. And then Howie's adding that and crystal antiques. I go thrifting. Yeah. I love doing it because I can tell you my best bargain I ever found. And what do we call it? I know you guys have this, at least in the US, Value Village, but we always jokingly call it Value Village to make it sound really chic. My best bargain there, and I'm a crafter and creator, right? I walk into their craft stuff, brand new crafting stuff, that metal stamping stuff with all the stamps and the alphabets and the whole, it's super expensive at Michael's, all brand new in there. And then I found a bunch of alcohol inks and stuff, never opened. I think I paid a grand total of about $12, and this stuff had to be worth over $200.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Mm-hmm. And does that stuff have anything behind it? I should think about this as much as you guys with haunted. Like everybody here has something they got from somebody, and I think every object that was handed down from one person to another has a energy signature to it. So anybody who is ever wanting to know how to do psychometry and all that, just start grabbing items, get in a little meditative state, grab this item and just let your imagination go and then see what you come up with and then go there and see if you can validate it. But the dolls and stuff.
I've got some doll videos. That's what I'm doing while I'm talking.
Oh, you're looking up the doll videos? Why she's looking up doll videos?
No, I have them. I've already uploaded them. So go ahead.
Let's watch them first, and then I'll tell you what I was going to tell you.
I've sent so many things to myself here because, guys, we've been planning this for 3 weeks, and Dave and I do actually do research for the shows if we know, because we used to get right in the beginning. We started this right after New Year's this year, and we used to plan the whole thing out. And we found we do this because we want to involve all of y'all. So we start with a couple topics, and wherever y'all want to go, we go. So how we all add to says brandy glasses, OMG, cranberry crystal, right on, chandeliers, lamps, fine wine glasses. Yeah, why not? Hang on, somebody sent me a message. Oh, good. I'm in Messenger already. Okay, let me see if it's going to send me all the stuff I sent here. Yes, it is. Okay. Let me go. This one, it's pretty subtle though, so I don't know. Oh, this girl. I remember this girl, and I wonder what happened to her. I also uploaded this really crazy video from, I believe it's Poland. And this woman was utilizing a Ouija board that I think they picked up from somewhere. They don't know where it came from. And there's some crazy stuff going on in that video talking about haunted stuff. So hang on, let's open this up here. We're going to, now I never found out if this girl was for real or not, or what happened to her, because I remember she was around for a while, showing up everywhere. Sorry if I disappear, guys. I went off screen to do things. So if I disappear, I'm right here. Could you still hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I heard everything.
Good. Yeah, so this girl, okay, why are you not sharing? Sorry, my computer, everything. I refuse to believe in Mercury retrograde.
It's not Mercury retrograde. It's the groceries you brought in. They were haunted.
Okay, here we go. Let me make sure it's showing up for you. I got to share it in here now. Too many buttons to push. Okay, it's small. Ooh. I will make it bigger, but it's not very long. So watch these dolls. I had a whole bunch, I think, from her, but hang on. That part. Okay, that's it. There we go. So, what'd y'all think of that? What'd you think of it, Dave? Are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay. So, what'd you think of that?
Was that all in one take?
No. I forget. I don't know if she was on Facebook or YouTube. This was quite a few years ago. I remember seeing her, and she would go live. Now again, I wasn't in the room. So did she have fishing wire? What did she? And she liked haunted dolls. She collected them. So I don't know. Was it real? Was it not?
Well, I won't say they're real or not real because it's not me. I will say this: whenever I see haunted doll stuff, and this might sound strange, I am more interested in the very small movements than I am in the big movements. Like when, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Hang on, let me play.
Because that to me, the small movements are the ones that I'm like.
There's a small movement one for you. I got.
Yeah,
I did upload it.
The second one. But otherwise, I don't know about her. I mean, I can't sit here and say it's real or not because you'd have to go back and investigate the time, investigate her. Is that what she wants? If this is what she loves, of course, at some point, don't you think she's going to do something? Who knows? Not saying she is, but there were a couple. If those were separate and not at the same time, there was two that I got a ting off of. And one was
the one though, it kind of it just, I said it. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I said that looked fake. The one thing did look fake. So Dem Rogers says that was pretty awesome. I love dolls. And Christina says, agreed, David, the eyes on the doll head. And she also said those dolls are creepy. The clown is, but I don't like clowns either.
I don't know.
So,
I love clowns. I don't understand the fear of it. I think it's really quite interesting.
I was hoping I could play this from here, but I can't. Hang on. Okay, give me a second. I'll make it bigger if I have.
If you're afraid of dolls,
oh, wait,
don't watch this. I'm not sure where this video came from, but it clearly shows a room full of dolls. Everything seems pretty normal until the person recording pans the camera past this doll. Watch closely.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to see. Let me see if I can make it bigger.
At first I thought this was a little kid's arm, but if you look closely, you can clearly see that this arm belongs to this doll. I don't think that this video was manipulated, but it could be just a clever hoax. What do you guys think? Is this real or fake? If you have a paranormal video that you'd like to share, DM me.
It could be
give me a second.
things.
If you're afraid of dolls, don't watch this.
I got to stop it. There we go.
I saw it perfectly when it went by. I like the factor behind it, and I would say that I would think that something like that would happen. I think that video is probably more credible than the other one because of the fact not every doll is moving, and it was a slight movement. But I mean, I have to say, just from experience, I've got a lot of little like toys and gnomes around. I've had one of my gnomes all of a sudden something move on it, but it wasn't because it was haunted. It might have been because the arm was folded in when I first bought it, and then it kind of unfolded. But who knows? But the arm thing.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
But the arm thing on that one was pretty good. But it's hard to say because, like I said, I've debunked my own stuff, but then I've had stuff happen to me that I haven't debunked yet. So,
well, I've mentioned Seraphine, my previous co-host. That's the one that we did the show. I think it was Infinite Inquisition was the show we called it. It was on Tuesday nights. And she's the one. I've had EVPs. We've had all kinds of crazy stuff happen, including we did the show, A Little Bit of Knowledge is Dangerous. But Seraphine collects haunted items. Like she had this cross. When she got this cross that broke in an exorcism, like it broke in half, the stuff that went on, because we used to talk all the time, like, and you'd see on video, and she'd wake up in the morning, things would be moved, and it was really crazy, right? But she collected haunted dolls. And I can tell you, they would be behind her in her office, and the one that always freaked me out, like you could see, if you go back, you could see like the hand move and all kinds of stuff. And then, but the biggest thing was it looked like it would start to smile during the show, but it was right behind, it was way behind her though, right? Or it would look like it would blink or something. And then I found out the doll had a painted face.
Oh, that's how
cool. That happened.
I know.
I don't know, but there was lots of creepy.
That would be that'd be a good one.
Let me. Okay, just so you know, Judy, who's here in the chat, she just sent me the most. She goes, she just saw this on Facebook. A guy made it. And she said, since you were talking about it, I thought I'd send it to you. And it is the most beautiful carved gnome. I sent it to her. I didn't mean to send it back to you, Judy. So I'm going to send it to David so he can see it. It's beautiful.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell this story with Christina. She says it was a clown film that kept moving and music played and the kids were gone. It did it every time I was alone. So it went to a bonfire. Yep. It was a clown doll my kids had. Yep. I would think so. Nope.
Do you know what's funny though? Let me add this because just that's an interesting topic about throwing haunted dolls into a bonfire. Now, I don't see anything wrong with it. If that's what somebody wants to do, that's fine. But the funny thing is, if it was, let's say, if there was something within the doll, okay, and you put it in like a soul, let's say, and you burn the doll, you're not destroying the soul. You're just letting the soul loose to go into whatever the hell
Absolutely.
else it wants to go in. Yeah. So I always
The
tell
most
people,
important- Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
no, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that when we burn stuff that we think is evil because it's like possessed or whatever, you're only burning the material part, the physical part, because the soul goes on just like we do. So I think
Okay, so
sometimes,
that's an interesting topic.
yeah.
Sorry,
I
I'm
know, it's like,
delayed right now. I can't. I'm gonna go. Go ahead.
You got a what?
Did you want to? This is like when I was doing that thing with Jonathan. Every time I think there's a pause and I start to talk, then you talk. Finish what you were going to say. I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh no, just interrupt. It doesn't matter. But no, that's a very interesting topic. Let's talk about that for a minute, because
okay, because I do want to talk about it. That's why Sarah.
Let me grab my nose spray. I'm going to grab my nose spray.
Okay, go ahead and grab it. That's why I told Seraphine collected haunted items. I asked her, and I said, why do you do that? Like, especially all the activity it causes. And she's pretty knowledgeable about binding them. We're going to talk about that for a sec. But the reason why was she knew how to deal with these things and handle them. And she had said, I don't want them being thrown out in the trash or disposing of them incorrectly. And then whatever is attached to it could end up in the wrong hands, could end up wherever. So some of the things that you have to do, and there's different schools of thought about this, is you can bind it. You'd have to look up binding. You can surround it in salt. Some people use crystals. I mean, that we've talked about Dybbuk boxes in the last couple of weeks. That supposedly is somebody trapping a very negative, evil spirit within this box, right? So there's many different things, but I know salt is very powerful. A lot of people like to use sage. Like I say, that what are your thoughts on that, David, to be able to get rid of something, an attachment?
There's so much to play with on that one.
That's what I said.
On all that. There is, because there's so many ways to look at it, because you think, if a doll, let's talk about dolls for a minute. This is hypothetical, you guys, by the way. I'm just kind of pulling this out my butt, about, pertaining to the theories that I know about things. So if a soul got into a doll, one, it would have to agree to stay there or want to stay there. Otherwise, it could just leave at any point. But it seems like with most haunted dolls, that the spirit feels or said to be or feels to be trapped, i.e. trapped, quotation marks. But I wondered if a soul, if it is haunted, I was wondering if maybe the soul that haunted the doll at the time that soul left the body it was in, or if it was never here and needed to be here for some reason, could it do a focus almost like we do here? Like, we're here right now. You're focusing so hard on being here right now that we are here and we exist. So I wonder if there's a soul, if it's really that not malicious, I guess is the word. Could it put itself into that doll and have that strong focus, and meaning it's literally trapping itself? Do you think so?
Well, I don't know if I have a different school of thought. So what I think happens when you end up with a negative entity attached to an item, that I don't think it's in the item. I think it's attached. We're talking about energy here. Now, if you've got something negative, okay, for whatever reason, whether it's a tulpa, that's how we end up with something like a slender man or thin man, right? Just came from a creepypasta, a bunch of people talking about it, believing in it. Everything is energy, including your thoughts, your words, everything, your emotions, right? Or for whatever reason, it's come from another dimension. And when people, like, not all people are good. We talked about true crime at the beginning here. A lot of people have a lot of negative thoughts, negative emotions, lots of good people with a lot of good emotions too, but that has to go somewhere. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but transferred from one place to another. So this is my thought. If something negative is here and it doesn't belong here, it needs to feed. So how better could you get what you need to feed you to grow stronger? We're talking energy. And the things that I have found from my previous home, which we never invited anything in, but what it fed off of, and having studied many, many paranormal cases, as have you, and there's others in the chat probably that will say the same, that people will notice they're fighting a lot more. There's a lot of more discord and anger. There's a lot of depression and sadness. Okay. Fear is the biggest one, I think, that feeds them. So this is why you get activity from these things, maybe that don't belong here, should not be here, are trying to grow stronger and bigger and badder. So they no longer need to be attached to an item and they can just go wherever along their merry way. Does that make sense?
It does. And for the record, everybody, I really don't believe in the theory that a soul actually enters a doll.
I don't.
I don't mean it. I'm just saying the way some dolls, the reason is I asked is because I've seen some doll videos where, I mean, literally the doll's moving around and it's, you know, all this other stuff. I'm like, all right, that is so fake. Like I said, I love the ones where it's just a small movement, because in our world, we can, like, I don't know if you guys know who like Uri Geller is, or know what people who can move objects with their mind and do like that. I wonder
telekinesis is what it's called.
I wonder if there's like an energy type tulpa, or like say I have a doll and I said, I looked at it one day and I could have swore it moved for whatever reason. Just say I'm just Dave. I'm not a medium. I'm not nothing. And Lorilei not a medium. We're just normal people. So I have this doll. I could have swore I saw it move. And then I show it to Lorilei, and then Laura maybe stays over one night and looks at it and goes, oh my God, I could have swore I saw it too. So now two of us saw it move. So then we pass that around. Now, the doll, I think after a while is going to start to move, because I think we put that energy in there, and now anybody who comes across it is going to be able to witness it because of that energy. So I wonder if there's like tulpa and energy. I never thought about that.
I that makes perfect sense. Christina Lantis says, or it could be spirit moving dolls or objects. Yes, definitely. But when when you see an inanimate object move that should not be moving on its own, what does that elicit in most people that are not in the paranormal world? There are people even in the paranormal world that will lose their crap seeing something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that can feed it, right? Something negative could feed it. So to me, and it doesn't belong here. It should not be here. No, but we have to remember too, living on Earth, we live in a duality. And as I've often said, I know Dave's going to agree with me because he said it too, I think human beings are meant to live in balance. The idyllic state for a human being, connected to, you want to call it home, source, whatever your belief system is, the universe, and to be perfectly well grounded to the earth.
Here, yeah. You have to be present since we're here. Yeah, it makes more sense.
So I could agree with that theory as well, David. But the other thing I was thinking about while you were talking, and I don't practice black magic. Okay. I've learned many things about it in my travels. But what I'm saying is I have heard of people that do things like alchemy or very dark black magic that will conjure something that doesn't belong here and anchor it to an inanimate object as well.
Yep, you can. And then another thing too, you guys, your experience that you chose here, whatever experience you're choosing at the time, it's going to happen. I've even listened to some other channelers say this, that if you believe in something, you're eventually going to get some form of it, because we create everything we believe in. So, I mean, we all agreed to see the Great Wall of China. We all know it's there. Mm-hmm. So if a few of us say, well, this monster exists in this castle and enough of us believe it, we're all going to see it, just like we see the Great Wall of China. And if it's in your experience too, you're going to see it. Like when people always ask me, Dave, is the world going to end? I'm like, well, not in my experience, it doesn't. So I know that in my lifetime, no, the world doesn't end at all. But
then
that's
you
not
timelines and time dimensions.
exactly. Yeah.
Part of my message to the human beings that I talk to is we are so much more powerful, incredible, amazing that we have ever been taught to believe, to talk about, to even fathom, like telekinesis, like moving things with your mind.
Yeah.
We could all do that. We really could. We could levitate. We could do many of these things that people are going to think I'm crazy hearing this. Why can some people?
We can do these things. I mean, I thought about this the other day, and this is
Telepathy.
really
We can all do telepathy.
telepathy. We can. And we're all stronger than we can imagine, really. I mean, we know that from women pushing cars up off their kids when they got in an accident, you know, and it happens. It's like, how did this lady do this? Because she could. Listen, I thought about this theory, and this could work in with the dolls too, as well. Is you know how everything, like where we are, this is very real where we are, obviously, but people talk about dimensions of Earth and all that. I thought about this one day. I was going down the rabbit hole in my own head, which is dangerous for David to do that. I thought, what if the same universe and the same, and these are all the same, the one universe, these planets that we can see, but they're interchangeable in every dimension. So it's like, you can see Earth from this dimension because we're in it, but in another dimension, this could be a whole other planet in a whole other galaxy, but it's on top of this one. You know what I mean? Everything changes depending on the perception of it. So it's like you could have, it's almost like a magic trick, like an illusion. Everything is the same thing and it's just perceived different. Like this Earth is the same of every other planet that exists, but it's perceived differently. I thought, but in the physical realm, we travel from places to places, but ETs have figured out how to not travel physically, but to almost think themselves there in a way.
Well, as I understand it with ET, and they now have changed the name from UFO to UAP, they actually almost are symbiotic with the crafts that they travel in. They make use of black holes and wormholes, but there's no, from what I understand, have I been there? No. But what I'm saying is their crafts have no controls. They control it either with their consciousness as well as being symbiotic with their actual craft. So
some are, so it's out there too that some of them are actually exactly what you said, and actually the craft is actually alive. It's live, and it's connected to the person who's controlling it, because that's the person who created it. And that's all just, and you know what's funny is they're all saying that we can do this. And we can eventually, because they were in our suit there. So the whole haunted doll thing is totally possible at some point.
What I keep hearing is the human race is a young race. All other races around us look at us and are very, very baffled by our propensity for violence, the depth and breadth of our emotions. Right? Because I'm not saying that other races can experience emotions, but this is just from, and I don't spend all day studying ETs and UFOs, but I mean, it comes up in the field. It's the paranormal. So eventually I think we will evolve, but it's kind of like, I think what you were saying, Dave, how we agree to have an experience or we agree for something to happen, is that we haven't come to that consensus yet of where if we were all taught as little babies, like even hearing it from the womb, hello, kitty. And we were told that part of regular life is we meditate at least once a day, and we do, but not purposefully. Hello, Carmel. And then we, we're taught how powerful our words, our thoughts, and our emotions are. We've been told from infancy that telepathy is normal. We don't use words. We can, but we don't if we don't need to. We can be very telekinetic. We can move things with our minds. We were told all these things from birth. I think we would live on a completely different world.
I so agree with you, because even because I'm open to what I do, I literally, like, my mom can start a story in the middle, as if she often does. Everybody else will be like, Joyce, what are you talking about? I'm like, she said that I can say it. She's like, see, he knows. But that's just because I know. But I agree with that. That's also because I'm not in the mindset of this isn't possible. I'm in the mindset of almost everything is possible, And I agree. If all of us at birth were told, oh, okay, by the way, when they came to life and death, they'd go, oh, you don't really die. Your physical body goes away at some point, but you're going to go and you'll be right next to us. You'll know who we are. You don't have to worry about it. You'd never die. And then said, oh, when you die, this is where you actually go. This is what actually happens and all that stuff. People wouldn't be so upset about things. I mean, as it is, it's hardwired into our system to think that when somebody goes, they're gone forever. That's just hardwired in our system. Now, there are some religions, they teach that you're not gone forever, yet they're the ones who, when somebody dies, make it such a tragedy. Does that you know what I'm saying?
It does, but you know what I always say, having worked a lot, and you've heard me say this many times, but I always say I've been so deeply blessed to be there hundreds of times at the beginning of life and hundreds of times at the end of life during, working in palliative care. And even as a medium, we all say, yes, we know we go on forever. We know that we never truly ever die. But I always say, and all of us could connect with our loved ones over time, because grief is a natural emotion. It naturally lowers vibration. So and sometimes grief never goes away. There's no timetable, and we know that.
Yeah, there's no.
But what I'm trying to say here is that, again, if we were taught this from a young age, okay, but the thing is, people, I always say to them, it would be so much better if they were here, right? It's great to hear and believe that we never really die, but even as mediums, and it's so personal for us through a grieving experience, and we lose one of our loved ones, right? And we could still talk to them on the other side.
Yeah, I'm still hardwired in the whole thing. I still get sad. Oh, I still get sad. It's part of this dimension. It's part of the agreement, and it's actually part of the universal law. And Facebook user, you are absolutely correct. The only limitation we have as humans are the ones that we put on ourselves. And that's
amazing, that quote. I love it.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, we can only see as far as what we allow ourselves to see. If you allow yourself to see a lot more, and that's why paranormal people and ghost hunters and all this, that's why after a while they hear the EVPs. Some are not good, but whatever. But they hear the EVPs, the images.
Being open-minded. Yeah. And Spirit, I've said this so many times too, and I believe Spirit gave me this. And for those that hear Spirit for the first time, wondering what we're talking about collectively, our guides, the angels, ascended masters, there's elementals.
Plus now it's probably part of their experience.
No, but I believe
I stopped for a minute, I think.
Sorry?
I said we had stopped for a minute, both of us. It took
sorry. It's probably me. We're getting a storm. I was going to say, though, I think Spirit's given this to me, and it is what we perceive becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. Whatever you believe is what you are going to perceive, usually.
An experience, yeah.
Yeah, and even if the world tries to show you something different, you're going to refuse to see it. Even if some people can see something and still say, I don't see it, and they don't want to. They keep it hidden away, which is funny because it's like, maybe it's in your experience to realize that you can see things. There's a whole rabbit hole to go down there too, but so we won't go there.
Items, I think that's where it gets difficult though, because again, I've said many times, We never went looking for the paranormal. It found us. But the thing is, whether you go looking for it or you don't, I think maybe because you've asked me this on this show. Had I not had the experience that we had in our previous home, you asked me, do you think I had that? Because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And I agree with you 100%. Hi, AJ Capasso of Talking with the Source. He says, share it out. Thank you, AJ. He says, love you guys. We love you back, guys. Got Robin of Haffern Paranormal, JK47 Paranormal Investigations, or Jonathan. But we got AJ tonight. We never get to see AJ. Glad to have you here. Dem Rogers, I did not know you are a nurse too. How cool. They say, as a nurse, I have had many experiences with people, with them or loved ones passing on. Yeah, absolutely. And the things people see, like say they're palliative or terminal, and what they see as their life here ends physically, not
well, going through this as part of the human evolution. Because like back in caveman days, I don't know how they felt about it, but I would assume when somebody passed away, they were like, where'd they go? And then after a while, they realized they weren't coming back, and then would get sad. And then this would go on and on and on. And then human beings started either making it up or getting inspiration or something to where we go. And then it just went on and on and on. I think at some point in our evolution on this planet we're in now, this continuing timeline we're in now, this evolution, we will also be at a spot where when people go, we'll be like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you later, because we'll be able to contact them. So it won't be like it is now. But I think we have to go through this evolution, because without this evolution, we have to know what it's like to miss somebody. That's part of
our experience here. And I agree with you because, and again, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my favorite podcasts is, my brain, he keeps going on me tonight. It is with these previous Hollywood director. Now I got to find it on YouTube. And he's got lots of channelers, near-death experiencers, spiritual teachers and mentors and what have you. Alex Ferrari is his name, and it'll come to me as I keep talking. I know it will. But listening to many different channelers, right? And I've heard this by so many people that work in our field, and I have to agree with it. They call it Earth School. And we're here to learn. And one of the way they were trying to explain how past, present, and future work, it's all at the same time, as we know. Yeah. You and I, Dave, we've talked about, and we talked many times here. But they were talking about, oh God, I keep losing my train of thought as I'm trying to remember stuff here. They talk about past, like I said, past, present, future happening at the same time. I got to think for a second here. And then
and learning stuff. You're talking about learning stuff.
Here to learn stuff, but there was something else. It'll come to me as I'm talking. But my whole point is, right, we're here. Oh, I know what it is. See, it would come. Is when you're up back home, heaven, wherever you want to call it, where we go when we leave this earthly plane, right? There is nothing but love there. And the word love doesn't even begin to encompass that feeling, including that we truly understand that we are all connected in every fiber of our being. So how this channeler had explained it was, so how can you know, like if you only know one thing, you only know love, that's sort of one of the reasons why we come here and to other different places and time periods and stuff, to not only experience what separation feels like, right, from that love and other breadth of emotions and many other things that we want to learn about. It just seemed to make so much sense to me.
From what I know, from how I gathered, on the other side, when people say it's pure love, for me, how it translates to is like when people here say I love somebody. So you don't have love until you state it. So, or you can look at your cat. I love my cat. I love this, and that. So when the way I understand the other side is as much as like when they say everything's love, you're not looking though at it as everything's love, because you become love. So it's in every fiber of your being. So there's no judgment, there's no anything. And it really makes actually for a boring experience when you want to learn other things. That is why people come into the physical, and to forget things. So they can, there's parts of love that you can only experience in the physical.
True.
So,
and what things taste like, and
and you love it because of that taste. Or on the other side, you wouldn't have to love it because of the taste. You would just simply love it. It would simply
yeah, but we hear about people as mediums on the other side. I have anyways, where somebody's come through and said, oh, I really miss eating, or I really miss being able to have a beer or a cigarette or whatever that might be. That podcast is called Next Level Soul Podcast. I'm serious. I must be thinking about too many things tonight. I blanked, and I'm sorry, guys. I want to read Tim Rogers' comment, and then I'm going to give a quick answer. I think David is going to have a ton. I'm already hearing that from Spirit. So Dem Rogers says, have you had the ones that see the black hearses? So many precursors to passing. I had near-death experience and finally saw it myself. I sound crazy. No, you do not. And actually, I have studied near-death experiences for over 40 years, professionally and personally. I had one as a toddler. David has talked about his many times as an adult. Now, as for the black hearses, now this is just a theory. I don't have all the answers, but I think that people see as death approaches, okay, a natural death, say that you are terminally ill, that people will see what they expect to see based on what their beliefs are. Could be religious beliefs, could be life beliefs, whatever that might be. What do you think, Dave?
No, that's true. I don't know anything about the Hertz's, and I've never heard of it, but that's okay. But I do understand the one thing that I knew, and that's the, how do I say this? I don't want to say be upsetting. I agree with Lorilei. There, it is based on our belief system. I think like why human beings would see a black heart, because
or buzzard. Somebody said
because that's human symbolism. That symbolism, I won't say doesn't exist outside of here, but it's not thought of out of here.
No, but it's the way angels are shown with wings. But angels, as we know,
but angels don't have wings. Yeah,
but people will see angels, and they
because that's the way they need to see them. Yeah,
but they may see them with wings. Wait, I want to add something though. That I think they appear the way we would expect that they would appear, so they would not scare the person, and they would recognize the vision or the being, whatever it may be, before them with wings. The same thing as the angel of death I keep hearing from Spirit. Now, personally, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, I do not believe that there is an angel of death. Now, that's my belief. Now, that does not mean that other people will not see what they think is the angel of death, right? Other people see their family members, their pets. There could be, I think it's what we believe and what we expect. Same as when we get earthbound spirits, or people who are afraid to cross over, or they think there's nothing in the after. I mean, we can go on and on, but we all have different belief systems.
Yeah, it's like the angel of death for me is really quite beautiful, and is not there to harm you, but it's there to show you where to go, and show you how to do it. The funny thing is, I bet if you took a lot of near-death experiencers, and I don't know if anybody's done this or not, took a lot of near-death experience who had validated ones, not the fake ones that go, I thought hell, and y'all better repent and go to church tomorrow. It's like, yeah, whatever.
I think that's a fake experience, though, David. I think there are people who have had those experiences, and from
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that go into the groups and start repeating the Bible. Those ones. No, because there are people who saw some bad things because that's what maybe they needed to see. But where was I going with this? Now I forgot where I was going with it.
I am sorry.
That's okay, guys. That's my train of thought.
Talking about the fakers out there, but the people.
If you took all the so if you took all the near-death experiencers who actually had the near-death experience, or at least presumed to, and and ask each one who saw, the ones who said they saw Jesus.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I'm always interested in because they always see him in a different look. And the one thing that the fakers haven't figured out is the ones who saw him in a different look. We all know that the consciousness of Jesus isn't inhabiting a body. It's a consciousness. It's a part. It's a being. And you'll have ones that go, the really religious ones will go, the fake ones will go, oh, he had long blondish red hair and all that. But although too, if that's how you perceived him all your life here, that being is going to show up to you like that. So it's more comfortable. I've had people tell me, oh, I thought my guide came in and my guide looked like my mom, but that wasn't my mom's. She didn't act like my mom. And I said, that's because your guide was because you asked to see your guide. It was going through your head, trying to pick out the thing that most is going to give you comfort. And it was your mother. So that's maybe why the guide showed up as your mother form, even though it's not your mother. I'm a big, what you said, to go back to what you said earlier, it is all based on what you need to believe in order. That's what's going to get there. Now, there is a point, which I do not remember, but I am told there's a point after your belief part, after you're over there, that you start to know. When you start to know, that's where everything starts to change around you, because you start to know the existence that everybody is thinking about.
What they're talking about, there's some great comments here. We're talking about, and you don't see this with somebody who passes very quickly or very suddenly, or it's usually somebody that is terminal. So they've had some time, could only be a week or two, could be a couple days even. But there's physical signs when people are close to leaving this.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Terminally ill people when they're in the hospital and they're on death's door and all this.
And that's what people in the chat.
I got you. Oh, I am totally on board with that one. I will never say no to somebody. I will never, ever, ever. I have learned in my lifetime, for anybody who is terminally ill or anything, I don't care if the nurse said they saw a purple dragon eating popcorn that came to pick up this person. I thought, I will say, you know what?
Okay, so this is where the black curses are coming from. And this is why Dem Rogers asked this, because we as nurses, especially, we're at the bedside when people pass and they're in a hospital, or like I did a lot of people who died at home. So they saw a lot of, I'm actually writing 3 books, as I've talked about many times. My third one, I am collecting nurses' stories mainly, but also first responders of the incredible, miraculous, amazing, and unexplainable things that we see as human beings, and even animals too, transition from this lifetime and leave the planet, we'll say their body, because we go on forever, the soul does.
Yeah, they do. I know what you guys are talking about now, the black hearts. You guys would know a lot more because you see a lot more people going. Dem Rogers is talking about cats are half in and half out.
I had that up there. Well, no, Janet said, let's go back just one. So Janet said cats were lined up on the window sill of my hospital room. So Dem Rogers added, it sounds like both of them have had an NDE, and Dem Rogers says cats are half in and half out of the physical, so that makes sense. So what's your thoughts on that one, Dave?
No, that's absolutely true. I actually, I know it. Cats are very half in, half out. Cats can see way more than dogs can even see. And I can tell you that cats are very energetic beings. I have 4 cats, 3 are related, 1 separate. Which doesn't happen often, but if I would come in here and be sad and like sit on the floor, whatever my cats are doing, they will stop and they will just sit in the same room with me. They won't do anything else. They won't comfort me. They'll just sit in the same room with me. I thought that was weird with cats, and cats, I believe cats might have a way to neutralize energy or take energy.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, take it from you. So it's like they absorb the energy and say, we'll just relax here and take away your
Well, they
stuff.
meditate a lot.
Yeah.
And I have a theory that when you have a cat, and I have one, that wherever your cat lays, they know when you need healing. Now, I truly believe, I can't prove this scientifically. I also think that their purr has healing abilities due
It
to the
does.
vibration. So, cats are amazing. Dogs are also, all animals are incredible in healing.
They say that cats can heal their own bones and stuff like that with their purrs.
Yep.
And that's why cats will do that. Yeah, because my cats, when I had my surgery on my arm, remember that? Well, that was last year in September when I had the surgery on my arm. I had just brought my kittens home, and they would sit on the bed with me and they would not move. And they would sit there during the whole thing. And
My baby's at the end of the bed right here. And the thing is, right, like dogs heal us in different ways, for example, but cats, there's a reason why the Egyptians worship them. And there's many countries, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I was shocked to see this, in Turkey, I believe it is. Like there's cats all over the place, including dogs as well. But animals are really celebrated over there. They said, like, the animal could go anywhere and people will feed it, and nobody's mean to it. There's like not a dog animal control, or such a different way of thinking on how we do.
I know, it is weird. I wish one day
There's Kevin. We got Z Sun Dragon here.
There's the Sun Dragon.
Welcome. So, Facebook user, I think this is Janie. Please let me know if it's not Jane, but they say yes. Cats can take illness from you. Per frequency is healing. Yeah, I got it with Facebook user. I want to go back to something here, Dave. Hang on.
Yeah,
Christina
go ahead.
added cats ground us. So this was a nice comment from Christina. She said, amazing show tonight. Work corrections and work with inmates. And she said lifers in brackets, and many passed. Too many to count after 18 years. Weird things happen at prison and at the hospital that we would travel to with the inmate. I can tell you right now.
Oh, yeah.
That when you go to previous hospitals that are abandoned now, the activity there is insane. But I can also tell you, having worked nights on a hospital floor, I have so many stories and things and crazy things I saw, things I witnessed, I experienced all through university. When I was taking my degree in nursing, I worked as a non-registered nursing assistant in a nursing home. We had some crazy stuff happen, but you got to think about this. I got to add this quickly, Dave, is with a hospital. And this is what I think makes a very good person who can also, like, works in a hospital, whether it's a nurse, a doctor, whomever it may be. I think you really have to understand what it feels like to be a patient. You're in strange surroundings. You don't know what's going to happen. You're sick enough that you are in a hospital bed, for example, right? Strange smells, strange food, strange schedule. You're afraid, you're anxious, you don't sleep well, right? And you have a lot of fear. So regardless of what's there, and if there's maltreatment, say in the older hospitals or asylums or stuff, you can see why that is like a breeding ground for negative activity to hang out. There's a good, and I keep going back to food source, but there is there. What were you going to say?
No, that was nope. That was
Hi, Nicole.
Oh, it was Nicole.
Nicole Ryan. Why you're not coming up, Nicole? Glad to have you here.
Nicole knows all about cats. She's a rescue. She rescues them.
Well, you know what? Okay, so I had an animal communicator on my show, Julie Jean Bassett, a couple of weeks ago, and she's coming back on, but she worked with my cat. And the cat, apparently, because they kept peeing on my son's bed, and he adores cats versus dogs, and my son is an adult but has severe autism. And she told me that the cat was upset because my son didn't let her sleep in the bedroom anymore because they would chew the wires. So she said that she was upset about this because that's when she did her healing work with my son. She said that's when the cat would go in and meditate and do all the energetic healing during the night. So I thought that was pretty cool. She's coming back on, you guys, October 9th. She's Thanksgiving in Canada. Don't ask why.
Did this kitty stop going to the bathroom in the house?
So far, she went once. We've learned, though, Kitty gets upset when my son's playing video games and doesn't pay attention. Any attention is good attention. So we make a mess, and then everybody runs and the video games stop. And I mean, what are you going to do to a cat that does that?
Yeah, if I'm doing something, or if he sees me concentrate too much on my phone or concentrate like that, he immediately walks up to me and he bites me. He grabs my shirt. He will pull it. He will do everything he can to get me to not focus on. He hates when I use my computer, or even when I do this. Did you see he was over here before? He was trying to pull me and bite me. He's like, no, you don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on me.
Okay, Howie sent us something. Hang on. Howie, what'd you send me? Hang on. What'd you send me? Oh, interesting video. Oh, maybe we'll talk about this. We're almost out of time, you guys. This goes by so.
Oh yeah, we only got a minute.
We have so much fun with all of you on here. Like seriously, Dave and I look forward to this all week. We do, because it goes by so fast, eh, Dave?
Yeah, we just talk about all kinds of stuff too.
I know, but that's what's cool about it, right? And you're all able to share your comments if you got questions, and that's why we love doing this show. So
our Italian friends, our Australian friends aren't here tonight, are they?
No, Michelle's not here. It's usually Michelle. Sometimes Jody's here and whomever. So Howie sent me The Horrors of Plum Island, Hybrids, Human Experiments, and Weaponized Killer Bugs. Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Ooh.
Have to check that out.
Congress.
Well, no, we're not getting into politics. Can't get into politics.
No, that's why I said it sounds like Congress.
You never know. You never know. So I forgot to, at the top of the hour, see, we were so engrossed. Remind you guys, you're all listening to 105.3 and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal Radio Network, otherwise known as United Public Radio Network, or just UPRN. And you're listening to or watching The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, my mouth stopping working, with, I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, with the other awesomest, amazingest host, David Hanzel, my good friend. And Kevin Z Sun Dragon says, gonna rewatch, got in late, but just wanted to say hi. We're glad you are here. So y'all, we are getting ready for a Halloween party. I think we decided Thursday, October, is it the 27th?
The Thursday, yeah, the 28th is a Saturday, because I'll be doing I'll be live. Actually, if you're in North Carolina, I will be, I believe, in Huntersville. I'll be doing readings all day from like 9 to 5 or 11 to 5, something like that.
It's October 26th, Thursday, October 26th. So if you guys have some ideas, we're throwing around ideas because we're doing a Halloween show on the Angel Rock too the Monday after. So I was going to say that what we're going to do, we're talking about maybe a panel we might have on. If you've got some ideas you want to see, or maybe you've got something scary or spooky you want to share that you want us to share on the show and talk about, please send it to us. But I'm going to let Dave first tell you how to get a hold of him, and then I'll jump in after.
So you guys, if you want to know more about the afterlife or NDEs or anything like that, my channel is Medium David Hanzel on TikTok. It's the one with the 94 plus followers. Anything under that's an imposter. I have a lot of imposters on there. You can find me on Instagram at Medium David Hanzel, Facebook or YouTube under the Spirit Experience. You can visit my website, theywhispertome.com, if you're interested to know more about me or to get a reading. And my other podcast that I don't do that often, I got to get back to it. It's pre-recorded. It's called Mystic Stew. You can find it anywhere. I just talk about weird stuff, and it's short form.
Awesome.
After you, Lorilei.
Thank you. And you guys, if you're enjoying the paranormal, you want to stay tuned. Next, coming up right after us, is the amazing Michelle DeRoche with her awesome co-host, Amelia Pisano, and they have the second night of the Outer Realm coming up. Michelle's been on, she actually commented on our Paranormal Survivor episode. I did not know her did not meet her, but I know her now. So it's the second night of her show. She's been Canada's Most Haunted, many paranormal shows, super knowledgeable, both awesome ladies, great guests. They have their show, The Outer Realm, Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11 p.m. So you want to stay tuned for that. Now, if you ever want to get a hold of me or you want to drop off those Halloween hints, like you can contact Dave where he said, or you can get a hold of me. Maybe you want to book a reading. I do energy healing. I do spiritual teaching and mentoring. You can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. Also, I have two groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for more of the spiritual things. Some of kind of a mix of both of what we talked about. We've got great people in the group, so I'd love to see you over there. Also, I have a second show, The Angel Rock, on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to hang out with me Monday because I didn't book a guest. I'm trying to do that a little bit more often, so you guys get to talk about whatever we want to talk about. It's going to be lots of fun. So, and then Dave and I will be back next Thursday again with more spooky stuff, right, Dave?
We sure will. So if you guys have something spooky you want to talk about, it's as easy as putting it in the comment section.
That's right. So thanks for everybody that was here, all your comments. Also, I want to remind you, because a few people, like I said, I've been getting, I'm going to repeat it, haven't been knowing where to find the replays. I have the show pinned at the top of my public profile. Both Dave and Dave has the Spirit Experience. I have the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin on YouTube. There's a copy there. I also back up all shows on Rumble under my name, Lorilei Potvin, and Odyssey. There's always on UFO Paranormal. It's on UFO Paranormal Radio. Sorry. It's on Facebook and YouTube. The videos are there. But if you want to listen, there's always, no matter where you go, it could be the most obscure app, wherever talk radio and podcasts are carried, all of our shows from all of our hosts are carried there. So if you like what you see, please share, like, and subscribe. And we will see you next Thursday. I'm going to read Dem Rogers says, nice to catch you live. Everyone have a great night. And right back at all of you for that.
Thanks, you guys.
Are we ready to try it again? We'll see if we can do it.
Okay.
1,
2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Oh my God, do you always do it?
I think we were so close.
Oh, so you guys know, if you're new to the show, Dave and I will get it. Oh, what happened there? I disappeared. I don't even know what happened. It disappeared. I was going to say, when we get it exactly at the same time, we said we were going to give away a reading each, right, Dave?
Yeah, we'll give away a reading. Yeah.
Okay. We love y'all. Okay. Much love and light. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Hang on. And